many people out there who are skeptical and say, well, since I've never saw one or had a sighting or a paranormal experience, it's not real. But there are very credible people who are having very incredible encounters with these things. And it's continuing and it's escalating. And that's the fascinating thing right now. These accounts are escalating.
Well, that's true, and there seems to be the barrier between these dimensions seems to be disappearing, and I think that's one of the things that's going on. And these things are increasing, and the weirdness is increasing, and our reactions to it are becoming almost like nonsensical. We're not really accepting the fact that there are things going on here which cannot be explained, and many things, and they happen, on local levels. They happen on big levels. There's things on the moon which are unexplained. There's things on Mars which don't make sense. The whole thing and everything that NASA's been doing for the last 30 or 40 years is not what they're telling us, I don't think. I think they're really looking into things like interdimensional communication and things like that. I've done serious research into this, and there's something else going on. That's all I'm going to say. We're going to take a break here, Philip. Do you have a website that people can go to check out your stuff?
No, I don't have a website, but...
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, I know. I'm a bad boy. Lost in the ancient times.
Oh, anachronistic. Okay, we're going to be back with Phil Imbrogno. I'm Jay Weidner. You are listening to the Smoke and Mirrors Radio Hour every Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. on the West Coast, 9 to 10 on the East Coast. Rebroadcast in the morning, 6 to 7 on the West, 9 to 10 on the East. We'll be right back. Talk about UFOs and interdimensional universes. And we're back. My name is Jay Weidner. I'm talking to Philip Imbrogno, the man without a website. There is one guy left. It's amazing. Okay, all through history, if people who know history know folklore, we keep finding these very similar stories that are going around, and they're always about fairies and elves and jinns and little people, and they seem to come out of nowhere and disappear. And these stories continue today. I mean, they're not talked about in the major media or anything, but regular people see these things all the time. And so, what's your take on all this history and folklore of these strange beings?
Yeah, if you try to listen to all this stuff and you try to tie it in with some type of logical research, it could really confuse you.
Yes.
If you're talking about leprechauns and you're talking about fairies and you're talking about the idea of other sort of mythological creatures, but if you go back in time, back to the Middle Ages and before, there are an incredible number of accounts for the population at the time of people meeting gremlins, gnomes, and so on. But today we look at these stories and we think, well, it was just, the fairy tales of long ago. But if you read some of these accounts, these people actually saw these things. They experienced them. It was part of their reality. Then for some reason or another, it almost died down completely and disappeared. Now we see it re-emerging again. People are once again reporting encounters with these strange little beings that have the ability to disappear and reappear. And it seems that these creatures, these entities, whatever you want to call them, are actually coming from a parallel reality that's very close to ours. And at times, due to certain conditions, I have my suspicions as to what causes it. These worlds, these two realities, our reality and their reality, comes closer together, allowing these creatures to enter our world, thus increasing paranormal reports. And that's what we're seeing now. And it's just like an incredible explosion of people seeing all sorts of things. And we're seeing that cycle repeat itself again.
Indeed, we are, and it does seem to ebb and flow. Although I'm not sure if that's, societal controls being put on talking about it openly, and it's still happening all the time. And it's interesting how people interpret these interdimensional events through their own filter. So a Catholic will see the Virgin Mary, a Star Trek will see a Star Trekkie will see an alien. In fact, I think there's even been multiple people seeing entities and reporting a completely different entity, each person. So the whole thing is incredibly fascinating. And also the green children. You know about the green children and the reports of those?
The green children.
Yeah, there's in Europe, hundreds of years ago, there was these reports of green children, green-skinned children coming out of mine shafts and abandoned mine shafts and things. And these, of course, have now disappeared now, but there were fairly credible reports of hundreds of people seeing these children, and in England, I think, is the most famous case. And this is about maybe 1580 or something it happened, and quite an amazing case. And they said it's strange how cave openings seem to also be some kind of interdimensional portal, don't you think?
In some cases, in the Hudson Valley up here, there are underground tunnels. And no one really knows who really dug these tunnels, but they were used for mining all the way up to 1820. But the original diggers of the tunnels are unknown. They were just taken over by colonial and post-colonial miners up here. But these tunnels are interesting because they have reports. People have seen hooded beings, small hooded beings around them, creatures coming in and out of these tunnels, globes of light that have been photographed. And the interesting thing about these tunnels is that if you trace back their history, after these areas were closed down, around 1890, at least one location was used all the way till about 1910 by people who were devil worshippers. And they claimed that these tunnels connected to another universe where fallen angels exist. And I actually, when I was doing my research in the Hudson Valley area, investigating the UFOs and the paranormal phenomena, I actually explored these underground tunnels. And they're partially flooded right now. And they're iron ore, in particular, the rock is iron ore. And they're partially flooded, so I had to get a raft and tunnel down these passageways, which went, 500, 600 feet down into the earth, and you could still see evidence of the occult activity written on the walls. But to the present day, there are still sightings of strange phenomena from these areas.
Well, I want to get more on this. I'm fascinated by that. Okay, we're going to be back to talk about how Mothman was connected to tunnels, too. And we'll be back with Phil Imbrogno. I'm Jay Weidner, Smoke and Mirrors. Thanks for listening. Interdimensional Universe. Come on back. We'll be here.